Assalamu alaikum, our beautiful listeners. Just a bit of housekeeping. Firstly, the beginning of the episode is going to sound a bit weird because Abdullah and our guest Abdul Wajid were a bit late. So you'll see them pop in, a bit later in the episode after about half an hour. And at the beginning, it's just me, Ibs, and production, just chopping up a little bit. So I hope you enjoy that, inshallah. And for our YouTube family, one brother Abdul Wajid prefers not to be on camera, so you'll see that once him and Abdullah arrive, it kind of zooms in a little bit, which obviously makes the quality a bit low. So bear with us. We can only apologize for that, but things will be back to normal next week, inshallah. But yeah, man, enjoy the episode. Assalamu alaikum.
Like, it's not a good plan, but what I think I'll do is, like, let's say I'm just Sunday, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Because what I would do on a Sunday, I'd probably just be on the phone, or if I'm not like reading or whatever, I'll just be on the phone. I can be on the phone and be delivering Burger King.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
I might just.
You don't have to do like you could do food, innit?
Yeah. I wouldn't do cab. I'd rather do delivery food.
That's what I'm.
Because you can just do your own thing, have headphones and whatever.
Literally, yeah.
But and maybe even do it on the bike, exercise.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's essential. It's so essential.
There's something I've been, like, obviously I'm not gonna say it here, but there's something I've been thinking about doing, and one of my brothers actually told me about today, that I think I'm gonna have to get into contact with someone and
Oh, Bitcoin.
not big no. That's but it's weird because, like, when I think about it,
Well, it's easy.
it's not that it's easy, but it's like I don't have anything like work related that
You can turn
I'm
into.
passionate about in it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything working that I'm passionate about. Like, I do my job. I don't mind my job. I don't hate my job, but I do it because it pays the bills. I'm passionate about man's ears, innit? So, but I do it because it pays the bills, and I enjoy it a little bit. I enjoy it, yeah. But in terms of passion, like something that I'm gonna wake up in the morning and be like, like, let's get this. I don't have anything like that, innit?
Yeah.
So, I guess there's something I've been thinking about that kind of I like doing, that I think inshallah I can get into, that would bring that big bread. But we'll have to see, in it.
Yeah.
That's something I'll have to sit down and learn for, which I don't mind because it is something that I think I'd enjoy doing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Where you can't say.
Huh? I was doing that a while ago.
One of my random does that, but I know it's not me in it. That's why I just said no.
I think I was doing that while I was in uni. But
I'm talking about coding, by the way.
on top of my uni studies as well, I had to put that aside.
One of the man them does it, but it's like, cause in like the man them are talking about, everyone's doing it, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it as well.
Yeah.
But then I just thought, yes, it may be bread or maybe, but you know something is far away from being you.
Yeah.
I just thought, nah, it's so not me that it's like there's no need.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you look at me in computers, like, it's like I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just not me in it. And I think it's a force, huh? Yeah, exactly. Because it was him, D as well. There was like in the group, it was all like let's. I don't know if he's actually doing it, but it was like we're all like like 2020 coding 2021. Like that was the thing. But I was like,
that's why you get bare scam calls nowadays.
yeah.
Not even related, but like slightly related. It's people got more time on their computers.
People got more time on their computers. Exactly.
Oh, fair enough. Lockdown.
Like, I respect it, but it's like it's just not me.
You have to have like a techie head. Like, I've got a techie head for production stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. You might as well just
jump on the mic.
You know what? Just.
I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah, just have it heard. Just have it heard. This one.
Shit towards him.
These times, man's walks. You walk in front of the camera, bare. For someone that doesn't want to be on camera, you walk in front of the camera like every
You
second.
cut me out though, right? You cut me out.
Sometimes.
What did you say? The first one. I remember.
Hold on. Is this mic on?
Yeah, they're all on.
Cool.
They're all on. Yeah.
Can you? I don't know. Let me. Certain man, the way they chalk slam the thing. Yeah. How does that sound calm? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you know? It's like I don't want to be that guy that always has ideas, but then there's nothing wrong with it, innit? have ideas,
Yeah.
but I start doing stuff. I won't lie. I know bare people say COVID. There's one thing that COVID did shake. Like what I was saying before. What I do now, I do want to, and it's in emotions, isn't it? Like become more. So the thing I do on the side, I do. It's a side hustle, I guess, but it's still for somebody, and it's good money and it's flexible and it's you're able to do it. So it's like kind of doing pharmacy work, and I'm able to do it most of the time. I do it. I'm doing it while watching football. So I tend to make sure that when I'm watching football, I'm doing that at the same time because it's kind of two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So I'm making money. We're doing like, but I still want to get to the point where I'm not even on the computer. I'm just telling people what to do. I'm just coordinating.
Yeah.
But that involves going to like GPs and all that type of stuff, which COVID made difficult. But inshallah, that's there. But still, man, like I don't have I don't think going to work. I don't think there's a problem with it.
There isn't a problem with going to work, but I think
The narrative is becoming that there's a problem with it, but it's not. But it's just it's this London. That's the big thing. It's this London. 'Cause I don't actually have a desire really to be rich. Yeah, but I do not want to be thinking about money at all. Like
yeah.
Facts. By the time I'm
Facts.
in the next like.
Is it thinking or worrying? You don't wanna worry.
I wouldn't even say I don't worry about money now.
It's more or less the same.
I'd say it's more thinking about money.
It's more.
The difference is, I guess,
if you're thinking about it, you're gonna worry about it at some point. I think it's more or less the
there's
same
people
thing.
who think about it and they're like, okay, how am I getting like more? How am I gonna get like
Move down the mic.
what closer?
Yeah.
So there's people who think. Now I'm too conscious of the mic. Right. Yeah, there's people who think about it who's like, right, I need to find like more roots and stuff. But that's not necessarily like worrying about it. It's more like
yeah, exactly. That's what I agree. I think there is a difference between because worrying. I'd say if you're worrying about money, is if something goes wrong, then I've probably got about 4 months to sort it out, or the rent could start getting taken. That's worrying, I'd say. But if you like, everything's good, alhamdulillah. It's okay in it, but it's like
you want more, like basically.
Yeah, not want more. Oh yeah, in it. Yeah, want more in it, but
you
more
don't need more, but you want more.
because no, but I'd say need.
I'd say need as well.
Because do you know is because if you can't just get up and go and do something whatever you want.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know. I want to do this for 6 months. I want to do this for 6 months. Something comes up. I want to buy that. Or I want to just like being able to do it. And it's not a case of needing excess, but it's just being able to be up to the point where flexibility is just easy.
Yeah.
And a part of that is there's two aspects to that. It's either being tied down to whatever work you're doing, or not making enough money. So it could be both, innit? So for example, if I could just make what I'm able to continue on my same trajectory now without
So like
without adding more money, if I could continue on my trajectory now, but add to that the fact that I'm just completely flexible. So for example, if I could switch what I was doing, if I could make the same what I was doing as just a entrepreneur, and I know that comes with its own, I don't want to down, that comes with its own stresses and time consumption, blah blah blah. But to the point where I'm kind of just conducting, or I'm just making it kind of residually, then alhamdulillah, I think I'll be okay. I wouldn't, do you know what I mean? Obviously you want to build, but I think I'll be. But it's the fact that for this money, the trade-off is a lot of rigidity in terms of scheduling and time, and rigidity and time, and where you can go, like being able to move around. Like for example, my job actually makes me have to think about where I live, stuff like that. You don't want that, but so yeah, man. But at the same time, I love. Like I don't think I ever want to leave healthcare. I think I love it, man, because like, as in leave healthcare. I think because I actually believe that there's so many issues with the NHS, and I love the NHS. I think the NHS is vital, and I think it's a good thing. But there's so many issues that man. So like for example, I wouldn't feel okay to me making money off the NHS without making a good contribution to it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people make money from the NHS, but don't improve the NHS.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, and there's ways to do that. I can think of ways to do that, but I still think that that wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be fully comfortable doing that. So that's the trade off. So whatever I'm doing, I want to be able to like make it better for patients, or either make it better for patients or make it better for the taxpayer. So you get more value for money, because the NHS is stupid, man.
How do you feel like in your job is that something you feel like you can do now, or is it like a future
Yeah,
thing?
so just let's say as a pharmacist,
Just taking care of patients better.
So for example, so the use of medication. So like for example, something simple. If you have 30 people with diabetes, I'll say this. Let's say you have 30 people with diabetes. If you had somebody who understood their condition, let's say type 2 diabetes, understood diabetes better, understood the medication and what monitoring is needed, and was able to enforce that monitoring. So how often you need to take your blood test, somebody interpreting that information, and somebody adjusting medication, blah blah blah, and educating the patient to a satisfactory level. The amount of people that wouldn't have to go to the hospital and get their foot chopped off every year, of those 30 people, you could probably just pattern the situation. You could save about 3-4 lives, and you could save about 5-6 people from being 60 and having to get a limb cut off or being in hospital, and stuff like that. And it's like, just when you see education and being able to take the time to actually be with a patient, and part of that knowledge, but it's all just production line.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's
and inefficient.
I feel like when I worked in the NHS, to be honest, I worked in the NHS but only when I was training.
Yeah.
So when I was still in uni, I was training to be an audiologist. It was now that when I qualified and I got a job for like a private company, you kind of saw the shift in how they want you to look after patients. Basically, the main thing I was trained on was like patient-centered care. So like,
was this in private or in NHS?
This was in NHS when I was training. So the patient was a center of attention, and you do everything to benefit that patient. When I moved to private, they said it's patient-centered care, but it's not. It's not really. It's more driven towards targets, and that they want you to do a certain amount of things in a certain space of time so they can get their money. So like, brief example is, so like when I was working in the NHS, it was like when a patient comes in for like an assessment of their hearing, that's an hour-long appointment, you spend an hour assessing that patient. You ask them, you talk about their history, talk about the history, their hearing now, how that affects their social life, how that affects their family life. There's like a questionnaire you do to kind of get results, and that will tell you the type of hearing aid you might want to fit that person with. Then after you've done all that, you do the hearing test. Then you explain the hearing test to the patient, and then you talk them through their options, what type of hearing aid the benefits. So that's comprehensive, an hour-long appointment. Where I'm working now, they want you to do that
15 minutes,
and they want you to fit a hearing aid in that hour-long appointment, and that's impossible. So the assessments I'm doing now are nowhere near as comprehensive as what I was doing when I was training, because you have to cut corners. Because if you want to do that and you want to fit the hearing aid as well, and then after you fit the hearing aid, you now need to explain to them you need to go through how to use the hearing aid, what they do when they need it, all of that. You need to do all of that in an hour. It's impossible. So you're gonna have to cut corners. So and that's what it is now. It's more tough. Yeah.
I would have thought private being like more.
Exactly.
If you're private, you're paying more money.
Exactly.
So you would get better.
Exactly.
And that's one of the biggest. That's one of the biggest. That's one of the biggest myths.
If you go Specsavers now, you go Boots. These that do private hearing care as well. You do a hearing test. If you have a hearing loss, they're gonna shove a hearing aid on you. That's the next thing. They're gonna start telling you need a hearing aid. They ain't gonna sit you down and be like, you have this hearing loss and this is gonna affect you in X, Y, Z. The next thing is gonna be hearing loss, hearing aid, and that's just and it's subjective. Just because you have a hearing loss, it doesn't mean that you need a hearing aid, because it will affect people in different ways. I've seen people with identical hearing losses that one of them is absolutely fine, they don't even notice it. The other person is struggling everywhere. So it's subjective. But with private, it's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Is there medicine as well, like that you can actually use rather than?
Nah.
Silly question.
Nah.
No, it's not.
It's not a silly question. Patients ask all the time, but there is, and that literally
there's medication that can cause it, that can cause it. That if you stop taking, you might be able to save yourself or whatever.
So That's a common question people always ask. Is there like any medication? There isn't. It's just yeah. If you're normally, a lot of the time you do get a lot of age-related hearing loss. So just as you get older, your hearing gradually deteriorates, and then from there isn't much you can do.
Me and production were talking about like banks and that, like, you know, like all like ISAs and saving accounts and blah blah blah, and about like the permissibility of all of them as well, and that kind of thing as well, yeah. And you know how like, so obviously I was kind of explaining the whole interest thing and the issue with it, but you know how like, obviously we generally keep our money in banks that obviously technically we shouldn't really be associating with, yeah.
Okay.
Like in terms of like the accessibility of Islamic banks and stuff like that, do you feel like it's something that's promoted? Like, do you feel like they're accessible? Have you ever looked into it? I remember I used to have like, do you know, I don't even know, maybe you know or not, HSBC, and I think Lloyds as well used to do, I know the HSBC one was called an Amana account, and it was like their Islamic non-interest account, yeah. Then they just scrapped it in it because of lack of, I don't know, who knows, but I think, yeah, they scrapped it. Then it just became a normal account, innit? And then obviously you just kind of, it's not something you kind of, I guess you kind of think, if I'm not putting my money in like a ISA, Casa ISA, or I'm not putting it in one of those, you know, interest, high 1.5 interest account, put your money, then you think you're all right. But it's like, do you know, like, I guess my question is essentially, have you like looked into Islamic banks and that kind of thing?
No,
and do you think that? So do you find them accessible? I know you see them when you go Whitechapel, but that's like the only thing in it.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't think they're really pushed out or promoted enough for people to, because like
I don't even know how ledge they are as well. That's another thing.
I've never looked into one. I've never looked into this bank.
Must not like promote like, well, we use this bank or something like that.
Wait, most mosques.
But, okay, wait, hold on.
Mosques, the thing,
I guess just to gain some further clarity, what you're saying is that so just regular banks, do you earn interest just by having money in your account?
That's the thing is, yeah.
Bank,
the thing is,
accounts?
you do no, don't you?
I don't think so.
Don't you like very small?
I know.
Current account.
I know there's some banks or some accounts. If you leave that money in the account for a certain amount of time,
like an ISA,
you earn interest on it. But just for current accounts, I don't think
so.
Do you know?
So then, if you're not in interest, then what's the problem?
Like the fact that how banks work.
Yeah, that's the side issue. But I thought you did make a very small amount over a long period of time. A small.
I think that's ISAs only.
It's only ISAs.
Telling you about the ISA, I feel like I need to.
Is that on? Because I don't think I'm hearing you on that mic. Speaking to it.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm hearing you now, but it's going in and out. So I think you might have to.
Alright, cool. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Do you want me to put a blur in your face?
Is he in it?
No, I'm not in.
He's not in it. He's not in it.
I'll get a balaclava for you next.
Just test it. Yeah. So what was I saying?
About is it just cash ISAs that?
Yeah, I think it is literally just cash, because they say,
Let me Google
you're
it.
gonna have like when you first start ISA, you'll have like 1 point something %.
Sorry, I think you're gonna have to angle it towards you. I think it's the angle.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Alright, so for when you first start ISA in it, they say, right, you're gonna have 1 point something % of interest in it, and then that sort of goes down over like a couple of years.
Goes down.
Yeah, because it's guaranteed 1 point.
Oh, okay.
And then afterwards, it's not guaranteed, and then it's always like 0 or something, and it goes less and less and less and less. So obviously, I found out today, I have to sort that out. Inshallah,
Yeah.
I'll sort that out. But I think that's only ISAs. I don't think your current.
Yeah, I don't think on current accounts you earn any interest.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. So,
but the thing is, it's what we were talking about is that the fact that
Yeah.
banks work with
The way they use
with interest, basically. So no matter what, you're giving your money to a bank, which is going to use that to somehow gain more money through.
so this is
interest.
so this is Money Supermarket, and it basically says I'm tired. Man. Most normal current accounts pay very little or no interest on the money you keep in them. However, certain banks offer high interest current accounts that can sometimes pay better rates than various savings accounts. But so that's that. So fair enough, maybe not. But then the way I was kind of, and this is my very probably oversimplified understanding, is that what you get from a current account and the way that banks benefit from a current account, because they wouldn't do them if it wasn't beneficial, is that they're basically saying, come and put your, I don't know, 8 grand that you have in your current account, come, instead of putting it on your mattress, give it to us, we'll look after it for you, but we will use that money to do all this other stuff we're doing to make money. So more people, that's why they sell current accounts. Bring your current account here, because it means they have more capital to invest and give as loans and blah 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 to do stuff to make money on. So in theory, or as in terms of ihsan,
what do we do?
We should be, but I guess it's a case of ease, and so I don't actually know that,
because
I don't actually know what I don't know.
Country works though.
I don't know what the Jummah is, like the consensual opinion on the use of these accounts. But what I do know is that we're meant to, strive, and what is the best is to make sure that it's not.
Well, I'm hearing that sounds like the only real option is to just not use banks at all.
Well,
exactly.
Exactly.
You
can't.
Literally everything you're applying for.
Yeah. You need
a
a
bank account.
They're not gonna come and put your salary in your hand every month.
I mean, I haven't come across something where you're applying and they're like, we need a specific bank account, where you're like, do you know, obviously you got big what do you call it, brand banks, yeah? I haven't come across something where they're like, they would reject you if you're not part of one of these big brand banks.
Yeah.
So if we find like a good Islamic bank, then
they're there. There's Islamic Bank of America, but then I don't know. Like, for example, I think a lot of them are offering mortgages, for example, that are not even
home insurance.
Yeah, that are not even. So I don't know. So I'll do. I'll look into it. I might ask Ustad or something, and then put something on the Instagram. But yeah, man, money is it's long, man. Do you think society has changed our own? Do you think that society has made us think that what should be enough isn't enough? Because people have to go, as long as the time has gone on, going out, working, making money, coming home, spending it on your family, and then going out again. That has been, there's not been a problem with that, and that's kind of been a sign of as like a kind of mark of the life of, especially the life of a man. But then I think is it society that's made us think that
it's not, it's just not
we're
enough.
losing, we need more.
I mean, look at technology, innit? Like, just having the latest phone is like some people's goal.
I hear what you're saying. I do hear.
So are we just talking like victims of society in 2021, like the side hustle culture? And
I even think of myself in this sometimes. Like, I don't know. Is that a bad thing though? Okay, I feel like if you feel like you're not maybe making enough, or you're not doing enough because maybe you're trying to be in competition with others, or because this is what society or social media is telling you what to do, then that's a bad thing. But if you have the mindset of, I know I could be doing more, and I know I'm doing okay, but I know I could be doing more, and I know I could be making more money, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
If you're making money and you're making money and it's not for the sake of being able to look after your children or your children or your family, and it's not for the sake of being able to spend it in the way of Allah, so charity, building masajid and feeding the poor, etc., all that type of stuff, sadaqah essentially, then is it are you doing something wrong? Is that bad? Should you be using your time to do something else?
Yes, I think you should, because, like, for example, I would say, alhamdulillah, I think for my age right now, I think I've done okay for myself. I could wake up, go to work, come home for the next 30, 40 years, and I would live an okay life. Inshallah, I'd live a comfortable life.
That's not enough, bro. That's not enough.
That's the point. Exactly. And that's how I feel sometimes. I feel like you
need 19 streams of income minimum, man.
But there is genuinely more that I could be doing, and I'd feel like if I came home and
you
just
ain't even
sat
got Bitcoin, bro,
every day, then I'd genuinely be wasting my time. There's more. And that's the bottom line of it. There is more that I can be doing, whether it's making more to provide for my family, like you said, or whether it's making more to give to other people. There is more that I could be doing.
are you going to? Okay, a cynic will say, yeah, okay, if that's the case, yeah, that like you're making more money so you can feed your family, or so you can sort of provide for your family, you know, long-term future, or that you can spend it in a way of good. So someone will say, so if I give you £10,000 now, I don't want to see a new car. I don't want to see it. But when we get more money, because
obviously when you like,
no, because if that's the case, yeah, then every time you get more money than, you know, any more money, then
yeah, but all of that stuff
is either you invest it or you give it to charity or you're feeding your family.
Just, if I'm making more money, am I not gonna enjoy my money? What do you mean? I'm not making more money.
So you're making more money to enjoy it?
Of course, yes.
I mean, you just told me that you was making. Sorry.
I said if I was making.
I roll back the tapes.
No,
roll back the tapes.
No, without a doubt. If I'm making more money, yes, I'm going to enjoy it, 100%.
So you're making it. So the point of more money is for more enjoyment.
That's not the only point, though. It's an element of it.
It doesn't have to be a soul.
It's an element of it, and it's a big element of it, but it's not the only element.
All I'm saying is, when there was no money on the table, it was feed family and feed. Now the money's on the table. Enjoyment is all I'm hearing.
If I'm making more money, in fact, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. So this, like, so do you think you're influenced? Like, do you feel like do you feel, yes or no, internal pressure to have multiple streams of income? An internal pressure, so like something within you making you think that.
It's right now, anyway.
And same question for you.
Do I feel an internal pressure to make more money?
No, is that what I said? What did I say? No, I said make the internal pressure to have other streams of income. Yeah.
Other streams of income. Yeah. At the moment, no. Personally, anyway, no. I don't feel like I need to at the moment. At the moment, I'm not like, I don't have a family.
Okay.
At the moment, so.
Yeah, all right.
It's
obviously
a weird
that
one.
might change.
Jeez. All right. Catching flights. Yeah.
It's a weird one. I feel like if I say no, I'm waffling. That's the thing. I feel
the answer is yes, bro. Just say yes to it.
But the thing is that,
do you know, is it like other streams of income or progressing your current stream of income?
No,
I said
other streams.
Other
if it was progressing, that's a different answer.
I think the answer is yes. And I think the other question you were going to ask was, and do you think that's because I'm being influenced by, I guess, the outside world, maybe?
Yeah.
Probably.
Do you feel like you'd rather make £10,000? So let's say you got paid 30 grand now, let's say that's, I know it's double or triple even, but you know, let's just say humble yourself and let's say 30. Big boy. Have you seen the car outside? Well, sure. Would you rather make, what sounds more attractive to you? A pay rise to 45 grand, or making 10 grand extra selling stuff on eBay.
What, all at once?
Yeah, which, like 10 grand extra through selling on eBay, or 15 grand extra from your job as a pay rise? What sounds more attractive?
I just straight away thought of tax in it.
No, tax is the same.
You see, now that you've done this, you've done this in kind of like small increments, so it's a bit more confusing. You get this. I see this question a lot. You see this question of, would you take 1 million cash or a book on how to
give me the million?
Give me the million, bro. Like,
give me the million, man.
So but you've done it in small increments, so it's a bit more confusing. £15,000 pay increase or 10 grand now.
No, a year over the year via an alternate way of making money. A second.
Then it's 15 grand extra on my salary.
15 grand extra salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're not like using more time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're like,
yeah.
That should be the answer, but I feel like,
you see, the thing is that I feel like
people would rather make 40k and say I make 10 grand doing this than making 45 grand in one job. But I feel like in terms of what looks better to outside world,
but that's not me, and I don't want to hear I don't want to hear all of this talk of I'd rather.
Why? Because it's fashionable.
Exactly, and everybody's on this flex of I'd rather make 10 grand working myself rather than working for the man. I lie, man. I ain't trying to hear all that. I think, but the thing is that I think
there's nuances as well, obviously, on that.
Yeah, I think the reason that maybe people might feel, or I might feel, that internal pressure to earn multiple streams of income is because just because I'm not in a high paying career myself. If I was maybe like a medical doctor or an architect, and I was making 60, 70k a year, I might not feel the pressure. Fair enough. I probably wouldn't feel any pressure to
look at it.
Exactly.
The way that being a doctor's going, fam, I feel sorry for them, they're even saying that some of the doctors, I was talking to some of them on the ward. Like, for example, when I was a trainee doing nothing, like just twiddling my thumbs, then the F1s that were just sweating, they were getting paid less than me. The NHS is mad. And also, they're talking, the government is doing everything it can to devalue doctors. It's actually mad. Because like, they're even saying that they want to start making doctors. First they said they want paramedics, and they want to allow paramedics and pharmacists and nurses to retrain as doctors with shortened degrees. That one, I don't think there's a problem there, because especially, I don't really know much about paramedics, maybe not nurses, but for example, the difference in, the additional training, I think 2 years is enough in it to go from pharmacist to doctor.
Okay.
But what it is, isn't it? A lot of it is
pharmacists or like nurses as well.
Because the thing is, so nurses are good in terms of the actual physical patient interaction, examination, depends on the level of nurse, and especially an experienced nurse, or let's say like an ITU nurse type of thing. There's what they need to add is a lot of the background knowledge, the understanding of the science, and that a lot. But in terms of the actual management of a patient, assessment of a patient, like you see it on the ward, like especially an experienced nurse and a doctor, like what that experienced nurse has picked up, especially because like an ITU nurse, it's not, and I'm not, it might sound like I'm devaluing doctors, and a lot of time when I mention the doctors, I'm kind of talking about the lowest, like the junior doctor. That's what I'm talking about, innit? There's a you can see how with some training, maybe 2 years, a lot of heavy science, and it's possible to make the jump for that person to become a junior doctor who will train up as a doctor. Pharmacists, a lot of the science is there, but in terms of the actual physical patient, anything physical essentially, or anything diagnostic understanding like X-rays and that type of thing, that's where you'd have to focus with a pharmacist. So the kind of where you're coming from it for a nurse and a doctor and a pharmacist is kind of two different angles.
Yeah.
But that was one thing, and I didn't have a problem with it. I don't think it's an issue, and I understood it, and I don't think it was an issue. But I can understand why doctors would be annoyed at that, because anything that allows it makes that quote unquote looks like it's devaluing your anything that looks like it's, I'm not cutting you out. Anything they want, he's trying to do the clap. Yeah, you can't clap, bro. Production can't be. Anything that looks like it's devaluing your profession is going to be a threat in it, and it's going to make it, like, financially it's not going to be good. But now they're saying that they want to just allow people to just do apprenticeships.
And becoming a doctor?
Yeah, and become a doctor. That is wild.
Apprenticeship, Kev.
Apprentice. Do you know, that's so wild. So basically they're saying, so all the background science, all of that kind of stuff, it's basically saying you don't need to be in a classroom. Nonsense. You don't need to understand pharmacology, physiology, biology, all that stuff. They're just saying,
apprenticeship.
And what they pay doctors is ridiculous as well. Especially, basically,
as in bad.
Until you're like a registrar, the money is not.
It's not great.
Nah, at all. Like as in at all. It's not. You're not making sick money until you're a reg, at least. And even a reg is like, for what you've done to become that reg.
Yeah.
It's like, at the end of the day, there's people who are gonna just do 3 years of life science, go to the city and be making more than you, and you're registered, like leader of the community, pillar of the community, everyone. Do you know what I mean? But What they don't know is that, you know, you can just do life science or, you know, or history or political science, go into the city consultancy and make more. Like, which is mad, but you wouldn't think it, innit? But then, so that's why a lot of them end up leaving. A lot of doctors end up leaving. It's a similar kind of thing with pharmacists, isn't it? That's why, like, you sweat and then, depending on what you're doing, because
I feel like
this
is, I think, this is where people might have varying opinions of what you were saying about the NHS and how you wouldn't feel comfortable just making money off the NHS and not trying to benefit it, because you would think, because exactly, you have your opinion, but then someone that's a doctor that said just done all the things that you said will be like, I've worked my entire career in pursuit of trying to benefit the NHS and look at where it's gotten me. So, bro, let me kind of go make my peas in it.
I understand it. No, so for example, cutting and making your peas. So for example, private practice, all that kind of stuff. That's fine, innit? I don't have a problem with that. But then I'm saying there's people that, for example, will sell this to, like, oh, I'm gonna give you this equipment, for example, and it's not actually good. Like, as in, you're just.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean by. Okay. So for example, what I could easily do, I could offer a service. So remember I was talking about diabetes, for example. If I did what I did and I just did it blindly and I just said, click, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Give them their new prescription. They have blood test. Don't worry about the blood test. But I could easily do that, innit? And I could get away with it and I'll collect my money the same way. Or I could busy myself and be like, no, you have to call them, speak to them on the phone, email the receptionist, make sure to tell the patient to do this. They're gonna have to do this, but like their sodium was low, change them, and it's a headache. But as in, you're doing the job that you're meant to do in it, to prevent them going to the hospital and having something bad happen to them. But people will not, and it's easy to not. And there's no fail safes. Is very NHS what is bad is putting fail safes in to review. Like, you know, it's so hard to get sacked in the NHS. To get sacked is very difficult. So you can be, for example, like pharmacists, doctors, nurses. There are some bad doctors, bad pharmacists, bad nurses, bad. I feel like all physios and occupational therapists are they're all very good at their job, innit? Isn't it? But there's some people that are just rubbish. But then it doesn't affect them, innit? Like, as in, maybe they won't progress as fast, but there's no way to actually
just get them out, yeah.
Yeah, because from when they say, oh, do healthcare, be a doctor, be a pharmacist, be a nurse, because you always have a job. From when you can have a job where you always have a job, it means that the quality probably, like, there's a possibility that there's going to be a lot of poor quality out there.
Where are these, man?
I think they're praying.
Oh.
Yeah. Should we just take?
Where did you
start? Oh yeah, why did I go from
that?
Oh, the pressure to have a side hustle. The NHS.
Yeah, because I mentioned about having a high paying job.
Yeah.
You not wanting to make a second. Okay, yeah, that's what you started from. Did you hear about Goldman Sachs?
No.
I'd been seeing it recently, and I didn't know what it was about, and I couldn't bother to look into it until someone said something to one of my chats yesterday. Apparently, first year bankers at Goldman Sachs have been begging to only work 80 hours a week. They've been begging to only work 80 hours.
80 hours.
80 hours. You know what? You know when I hear that, I just think it's the maths for me, because I'm thinking, are you doing this over 5 days or is it the entire week? And even if it is even if it is 7 days,
pray it's over 7 days.
Even if it is 7 days, that's still mental. 80 hours. What's 80 divided by 7? 11 hours a day. And it's probably not going to be 7. It will probably be the Monday to like Saturday.
Yeah, it's probably 6.
Only 80 hours. What are you doing? What are you actually doing? What are you doing? And not only what are you doing, is it genuinely worth it? Because I don't understand how it can be.
Obviously, the money's long in it, but
when are you spending it? When are you spending it? Because you're going to work, you're coming home, sleeping to wake up to go to work.
No, you're coming home, man. Sending emails, reading emails,
fam,
finishing reports.
So this money that you're making, when are you even spending it?
What, 6 hours? No, sorry, 6 days. Yeah? You're looking at least 13 hours.
And that's what they're asking for.
Fam, exactly. That's what they're asking for. Because on your contracts won't say 9 to 9. Your contract will say 8 to 6.
I don't think that's legal, man.
Boy,
fam, even boy. Do you know it's mad? You know, 6
you
months.
gotta tell them it's not legal.
6 months ago, yeah, I remember I was saying, I can't be one of those people. My lunch break, I'll always take. Fair enough, it's an hour. I'm at least taking 45.
Yeah,
5:30 finish. I'm going home at 5:30. until I started doing like operational work, so like the kind of corporate side of what I do, where I kind of have to do both. So like recently my schedule has been like kind of like I've been rotated into the ITU, like the liver ITU. So within the liver wards, the ITU, which is way more time consuming. And we're doing like a project. I'm doing basically project management in it, where we're kind of just installing stuff across all the wards and blah blah blah. And like
Let's adjust.
yeah.
Oh, I did bring my letter. Wait, what you saying? AOPPP.
Then
This episode is gonna have to be feet production and wedge. Because I said feet production and
oh
wedge.
yeah, it's true. Production made his debut today. Still.
Oh, okay.
Obviously off camera still, but one off.
Well,
No, that's how it starts. That's how we get you. I'll get you on this couch in the next 2 months, inshallah. But yeah, just doing like corporate type work is a lot. Like, as in, and because it's like, for example, we need the estates team. we need,
Bro, he did it when he
the way you adjusted it, innit?
even Nico first coming.
Bare aggression.
just like, for example, just the builders need the quote, like, or we need to send the business case by Friday. It does not matter like what's going on. You finish at 5:30, but the business case needs to be sent by. So you just have to do, and it's like
Sorry, what are we discussing?
I'm just talking about like the busy, like
Basically, Sir Michael came out. Apparently, first year bankers at Goldman Sachs were begging to work only 80-hour weeks.
Only 8 hour a week.
80.
Oh,
Only 80
do the
hours a
maths.
week.
Do the maths.
They were begging to only work.
that's
80
double. I swear
hours
that's
a week.
double the average person's.
A normal contract is 35 hours a week, isn't it?
35,
It's like 40. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And 40, 45.
Again, we're talking about man that used to go home, shower, and then come back to work.
yeah.
So-
So that's basically what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
if they're begging for 80, then what were they giving?
Exactly. That's the question.
these men are doing
Doing
shifts.
graveyard shifts.
Some
fam.
graveyard,
As graveyard
morgue,
cemetery,
Oh, 42
The whole
minutes.
shebang.
bro.
That's intensive care shifts, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was saying that how it's. I used to say that like I could never not work. I would like, let's say I finish at 5:30. I'm going home at 5:30. My lunch break's an hour. I'm at least taking 45. I don't care what's going on. But then now, once I've started moving into the corporate side, so I'm in NHS, but I'm off wards as much and doing more corporate type things.
Okay.
I'm seeing how like that business case needs to be sent, or this thing. It's just like work. It's 5:30 home time, but like it ain't done. Yeah. So it's mad, like, and I've kind of fallen into that a bit, and I'm trying to. They are overworking me.
Stuff like that is why.
But it's mad.
Stuff like that is why I didn't go ahead and did I say when I was at I did not an apprenticeship. I did a internship at Are you mentioning the names?
Yeah, whatever.
JP Morgan.
Yeah.
And I saw
I know this story.
all this stuff about people. I'm sure I mentioned it while I was doing my A levels. I did at Brighton, and people were doing nonsense, and I saw that's why I always talk about the Sallys sleeping with Harrys, and they're both married.
Imagine.
But anyway, yeah, I know it's coming back to me. But what you saw that you just thought?
Yeah, I just thought that's the life
That's
of
not the-
a family man, especially someone who's trying to raise a football team.
So like a lot of
Yeah, no, go ahead.
a lot of what we've been saying is how basically it's like. It'll be good to get your take on this, because so like nowadays, everybody, or like there's a narrative that like if you're not earning multiple streams of income, or you're just earning money from your work, then there's something wrong with you, kind of thing. So
That's
it's
a narrative
like
that's going around.
I think that's a Londoner mentality.
I think it's like global. I think it's kind of. I think
If you don't have like, if you don't have
Western. I
a
think it's
side
just
hustle or a
Western.
passion,
That's
and you're not pursuing that, then what are you really doing?
so. You, for example, hey, Mr. AOP, So like, did you
Go on, quick
feel
plug.
the pressure? Yeah, not a pressure, but okay, yeah. Did you feel the pressure? Same question I asked Ibs. As somebody who's kind of set up his own business, that type of thing. Yeah. Did you? Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you feel that okay, what was your motivation for starting?
For me,
AOP?
alhamdulillah, I've always been
I might
like,
have asked you. We probably asked you this when you were here last
yeah,
time,
but just a clarification
whatever,
again.
innit? New listeners, innit? New listeners.
Yeah, exactly. For those that are new, but for me, alhamdulillah, I've always been like business minded. Do you get me? Like I was one of those kids. We all knew this from secondary school that used to sell sweets and chocolates and all that. That was me in it. So I always knew I had a passion for like business. So I thought, let me go with something that I'm passionate about, things like clothes and style and things like that. Like let me use my passion in order to pursue something that not only benefits me, that I can benefit others as well. Do you get it? So that was my motivation. And
So like, did you along with that, did you feel any pressure, and I don't mean external pressure, internal, like within yourself, yeah, that like there needs to be more bread coming in than whatever I'm gonna do as a job, if I'm gonna have a job?
I think like,
Or did you feel like I'm just not forget the job? Even like, because I know what obviously the teacher, that kind of thing. So obviously there's gonna be I assume you'll get paid, even if it's not modest or whatever. You'll get paid a living salary of teaching, especially if you're doing it full time level. Then did you feel like, yeah, but internally I need to have bread coming in from the side, like summer?
I think like if you're ever doing a business, you always naturally put that pressure on yourself because you know your capabilities. So you always feel like if I'm selling, let's say for example, 10 hoodies, I know I can sell 20. So you always put that pressure on yourself to do better. That's what I normally do anyway. So I don't feel complacent or I don't get
I'm talking
lazy.
about before you started.
No, I wouldn't put pressure on myself because I know what that can do. Like that can overwhelm you and you might get in a slump and then you feel like, oh, this is not for me. When it's just a mental thing, really.
Sorry. I almost feel like pressure because I'm just thinking about it, and I almost feel like pressure is the wrong word. I just think that
desire.
just as like black kids in London, there always has just been that desire to make money because, like you said, at some point in school we all sold stuff.
Yeah,
always been like this. And I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of some of the bros that mentioned. Like I don't think I can think of like one person that doesn't have some sort of side hustle, even if they're in a high paying job. Like I said before, that you might not have a side hustle if you're like, even brothers that are in a high paying job. Everyone still has some sort of side hustle that they're trying to make money from, or they're trying to make full time.
I'm thinking why though? I'm trying to get into the psychology of why everybody's on
thinking as well.
But why does everybody?
I think pressure's the wrong word though.
Because you know, I think 10 years ago, and I could be so wrong, but okay, 10, 15 years ago, I think the amount of people that were in a side,
it was very small.
Was a lot less. So what has changed? And obviously living costs and blah blah blah. That's going to be a big factor.
Quickly, I think it's just important to state that we're talking about your lifestyle is completely different to what the average Joe's would be in regards to what you're doing. Obviously, he's studying, and even now he was saying about how he was revising last week and whatnot.
100.
The lifestyle of somebody who's seeking knowledge and studying and traveling abroad to study. And although, he's getting subsidized by the
Saudi government,
I don't want to say.
There's
a negative perception.
We might have to clarify.
Obviously,
says me sponsored by
obviously the people who
I was Syria.
I have to clarify that.
How's Shamima, bro? Is she good? Free bro.
I think she's blessed in it. She's blessed.
Free bro.
But obviously, coming back to that, the lifestyle that one in that situation will be living is totally different to, obviously, having a business is flexible, which kind of benefits your situation, but it's also kind of a hindrance. But I'll let you continue with that.
The publicist.
Obviously for me, obviously, because having a business is there, alhamdulillah, but my main goal was always to teach as well. And alhamdulillah, I've got a few things that I'm passionate about, like football and fashion and like teaching as well. So if I'm able to like work within that, alhamdulillah, that's always been the aim, really.
I just thought I'd mention that because lifestyle is extremely important when it comes to having a business and running a business or running multiple businesses or multiple streams of income.
It's true.
I assume, having said that though, like your drive for like AOP and that kind of stuff goes beyond sustaining yourself through uni.
Yeah, of course. It's more like, it's not just whenever I think about doing a business or stuff, it's not just about me, it's about the generations to come, my family,
all of that.
Exactly, my nieces and nephews, like all of the anyone that's involved or anyone that's related to me that I can benefit. I always think about them because, like I said, like the main reason for me studying was that for me to study, I can benefit not only myself but others as well. So it's always about bringing benefits to others, because obviously we know that one day we're going to pass away and we'll be asked like, what did you do? How did you spend your time on this earth? And if you're able to build a legacy for yourself where you're benefiting the people, the ummah, and what's it called, obviously non-Muslims as well, you benefit them so that they can become Muslim as well, inshallah. So yeah, that's another sadaqah jariyah, like a reward that you always get for you, and that's always been the aim for me, really. So yeah.
What was you saying? Like going back to the question, basically. So like, what has brought the change? So is it? Do we think it's just
living costs,
or do you think there's something has made everybody kind of think
that? Yeah, I think it's like a very popular thing right now as well.
I think what has possibly
Social media.
had an impact. So yeah, social media. That's always one. But I
100%.
think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper. I don't think it's just social media. I think.
Because like, for example, like
One thing. Go on.
sorry. I was just gonna say, because I do think as well that, for example, when you hear women speak, I think now there's more of a thing with women that it's like they want that in a person,
What I was gonna say,
and that's
is,
what
that ambition,
What in a person?
like that ambitious person,
somebody who shows that it's like, do you know the term worth, or like somebody who's financially
That worth, or
the women will
maybe
see that as very,
exactly.
be attracted
and
to.
in turn that spurs guys on.
Yeah.
I'm saying is that because could that
It's
be
possible. I think one of the things is our parents, possibly. I think our parents can have an
that's the
impact.
opposite.
I think with our parents, it's always been the drive to be a professional, to go to uni, to be a doctor, and growing up in this country and obviously in a different society that they grew up in, we've seen that uni isn't the only way, and that you can make money through your passions, and maybe that has kind of pushed us in the direction of doing something in line with something that we're passionate with to make money out of, and that could be something that's
Just to add to that though, do your passion because you love it, not because you want. If you start off trying to monetize a passion, it can, as I've learned myself, it can go bad very quickly.
I think like I said, it's not about completely leaving the profession out of it and just doing something that you're passionate about, but it's doing that at the same time. It's doing that at the same time. I'm gonna stop us there. I know it's 52 minutes in, but it is what it is. So, guys, this is the Jollof Off the Jummah podcast.
Is it? Oh, bloody, I forgot that. Is that what we're doing? I forgot.
Bloody is a swear word. Huh? Bloody is a swear word, apparently.
For you, it is.
So the same one rule for me.
I'm playing. Myself, Ibs.
Oh, Assalamualaikum. It's bloody. No, I cut myself in it, so obviously it was bleeding. No, miss it. It's blimming Abdul Malik. Jolly good.
Assalamu alaikum. It's Abdullah.
Assalamu alaikum, it's Abdul Wajid.
Yeah, you might remember him from episode 14.
Mr. AOP.
14, yeah.
Wonderful.
Mr. AOP, Mr.
In the building.
You know what? Going back to that quickly, 2 seconds.
Funded.
I think.
I love you, but you're gonna get me in trouble, fam. It's everyone who gets accepted.
Yeah, JSA.
It's not
JSA? JSA.
It's nothing special, fam.
Jihadi John.
But yeah,
We're not in the same bracket.
The summer soldier.
Them man, they're on the next
Sahara
team,
soldier.
going back to what you said quickly in regards to social, I think social media does have a big part to play in a lot of people want to be entrepreneurial recently. When I say recently, within the last 10 years.
Yeah,
because I think there's a lot of people seeing lifestyles that they want to live, and I'm thinking, how does someone have the time to do that, and B, someone have the wealth to do that? And then they ask, or they see people ask, and they see people respond and say, "Oh, I have a business. I'm
able to
I'm not disputing that at all. I'm not disputing that social media plays an impact. I said I think it's deeper than that because like he said, it
came from somewhere.
It's almost all of us that have this mentality. So it's going to be deeper.
Yeah, but a lot of us that have had this mentality is I've had. Bro, we just spoke last week where I was traveling over the country buying and selling Xboxes and
It's
stuff.
not just people on social media though.
I think from young, it's always been there, but it's just in different levels.
I think maybe what it is that some people maybe start, because for example, and I've heard this said before, and I don't think I've been in
I'm not on social media as well.
but like people, there's a lot of people say, oh, I've heard this narrative. There's a lot of businesses that are started, and it's almost as if when you see what's going on here, it's almost as if it's more for social media than to make money, because of the fact that it's a couple things, like if you're not passionate about something, if you're not passionate about something, and if you're not passionate about something, and you're not really driving, taking this thing seriously to make it blow or make it blow up, like people will continue doing a business, for example, or do a business where the amount of time and energy you've put into it, without even really putting enough time and effort into making it be what it could be, but like you're better off doing Uber Eats.
Okay.
So if you, do you know what I mean? but then obviously, but you can't put CEO in it. Like you can't be a CEO of when you're but it's like, but if you sell, I don't know, sell 1, 2, I don't know,
like computers or something.
So I don't know, computers or whatever. I don't. I wanted to say t-shirts, but because
no, say it.
If you sell 1, 2 t-shirts,
I got fit skin.
If you sell 1, 2 t-shirts every 3 months, every 3 months for 6 years, yes, like you can scroll down and see that like this person sells t-shirts, and you could put, but like, if you're proud of that, should you really be proud of that?
Of course.
Another thing is,
when you could have just done Uber Eats.
another thing to mention is,
because you'll tell me it's about bread, but really, is it about bread? Because if it was about bread, there's better ways to make bread than you're making. And I know they'll say, oh yeah, but it's about this is bro, if I'm consistent, but are you being consistent, and are you realistically going to be consistent?
You have to ask.
another thing to mention is that for a lot of people, social media is a way to, if you got malicious intentions and you want to drag people in under the guise that you're a business owner, and you want to, because there are people that generally do this mentorship, all this nonsense, and not that all of it's nonsense, but a lot of it is. Social media is a way to do it, and my second point is, I've got another point after that. And the second point is, for people who are genuine, obviously they want to seek fame and stuff. Social media is their way to make money. Social media is their business. And then thirdly,
that's kind of different from what I was saying.
And my third point is, I forgot now. I
was thinking Dula with 3 points. You can remember all of them. That's
with this conversation.
I remember. I'll say it.
I almost don't want to talk about social media. Yes, it plays an impact.
I think
it plays a massive
if we're talking
impact
about
still.
this, we have to.
I
think
because no one's going to see your business unless they actually know you.
I know what he's trying to say.
The reason I'm saying I don't want to talk about social media, and it's
kind of easy out.
That, and I'm not downplaying the fact that it has an impact. We're not all going to sit here and say social media has no impact on any of us.
Yeah, but the difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying
I'd like
is,
to think that we sit here and we're 4 people that social media doesn't play a massive impact on our lives.
It doesn't. But I'm saying in regards to the rise in people wanting to become entrepreneurs in our society, I'll say that's the biggest. And for me, my opinion is, social media has had the biggest impact. I know it's not the main reason.
Social media, I think social media sometimes gets used in a way, and I think this kind of happened in here, where social media is social media, but then social media is more than Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. But it's more than that. But social media also, so for example, see this podcast, in a way, somebody who's not on any of these things, because of the content here, I can almost kind of relate it to being a social. Well, I know it's on YouTube and but for example, you can listen to the podcast, and I would say through this podcast, and which is not even social media heavy, but what it is it gives you an insight into the narratives of social media, which a lot of things that aren't social media do. Even the conversations on a bus, and it's not social media per se, but what it is that it's feeding the narratives that are often filling in.
I'll say we're actually breaking that.
So for example, see how I'd say, you say you're not on social media, but without being on social media, you're still aware of a lot of what's happening.
Technically, I am on social media because I watch a lot of YouTube. That's how I know about all these current.
So just in that, it's kind of like, or something like what I know. For example, Wajid's social media presence is, and how he uses it. But even still, you're still, you kind of, do you know what I mean? Because social media is so big, it actually fills up real life anyway, to the point where stuff like this, for example, like yes, you could say social media, but social media in terms of the apps, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook or whatever, are just almost like mediums of social media, but social media is kind of bigger than the apps now. So what you're kind of two of you are kind of saying is almost like you're saying the same thing, but whereas one of you is talking about the apps and one of you is talking about kind of what I just said basically, which are kind of like the same thing. So the narratives, which are, you know, not just, so everything nowadays is narrative, isn't it? Like there's this narrative, there's men is trash, there's side you have to have a side hustle. They're all kind of narratives that we talk about in person, over the phone, or blah, 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 but they all come from somewhere, and the way they all mix up and get distributed from is basically social media. I see it all as social media, innit?
I think because they're like hot topics, innit? Like
exactly.
people always watch like anything to do with fashion or drama or money, things like that. People always watch. Even
the when you go to like you go Jummah, you go to a lesson or whatever. Even the topics there, or when we do camp, the topics there
related
are based on combat. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, so all these things, it's like, so it's all kind of like the same thing anyway. So having said all of that, in terms of like, I kind of cut you off.
No,
so like, what I think the whole like, where does it come from? I think it comes from social media, but then it comes from people, it comes from ideas that people have,
or maybe it's publicized on social media.
and they cultivate them in social media. And so like the core principle, the type of men wanting to make extra money, I don't think that came from social media, but in terms of the package of it, the side hustle, the CEO, I have this, that's probably where it was glorified, and where we got the idea on how to do it and what it looks like.
I just remember my third point. So my third point was that while I was talking about this, I think it's also key to remember that the biggest currency known to most man is fame, and fame is like one of, if not the biggest fitna. So a lot of these people that have failed businesses, but on paper it's CEO or whatever, it's to get fame. Like I watch car videos, and there are people that legit buy millions of pounds or dollars of cars
just to show off or something,
just for social media. Literally just to show it, just to take pictures of it on Instagram and become famous. They've got all the money, they've got everything that you would perceive to be success, but they're still out here chasing Instagram follows. So it shows you that surely all of what they have, all of what is deemed success, is not everything to men.
The thing is that I think the topic was more geared to us.
Yeah, I know.
Not really,
Oh, okay.
Which is why I wouldn't agree that it all comes from social media, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that.
If we're talking about us, the conversation,
nah, it will be like a lot of contributing factors.
Okay. I thought you were talking about in general.
It's more about us rather than social media, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the reason I want a side hustle is because I want to go and tell people in, because that's not.
I think for the listeners,
it comes from what I was saying. Like we've all had that natural business mind from young. You get it. So now we're a bit old. Now we're a bit older, so we have more freedom to do what we.
For the listeners that have listened to previous podcasts, you will know from our stories in school and stuff that that is kind of, these are the natural traits of someone who eventually, or that has had a taste of entrepreneurship and wants to.
But do you know why I can't not disagree?
Delve deep into it.
But where I think there's a difference is, and it goes back to the question I asked Ibs before you got here. I was like, and fair enough, his answer didn't suggest this narrative, but I think a lot of people answer this question differently, or in their heart of hearts will feel differently. That I said, would you rather, if you're earning 30k in a job, I said, would you rather get 15 extra, like make 45, so get a pay rise of 15k, or would you rather make 10k in that year, but from a side hustle? And he said, oh, just give me the pay rise, innit? But then I feel like what a lot of people will be more proud of, or may look better, is making that 10k
from their business,
quote unquote, on the side, if you get what I mean. And it's like,
wait, when you say on the side, do you mean on the side from a job that you have and a side hustle?
So taking away the whole thing, because obviously there's 10k could become 30k. It's kind of parking that to the side for a bit.
Also, another thing is you don't know how much the person's earning from their job.
No, I'm saying, I've said like
the example.
Oh, so you've got a 30k job.
You've got a 30k job. Would you rather make your 30k job a 45k job, or would you rather have your 30k job, still making 30k, and make 10k doing something else?
Or 10k.
I think people would think that.
He said 10k.
They would
because for me again.
But then I'm taking away the whole,
For me, it's flexibility, man.
Yeah, which I was thinking I could understand why somebody would. I didn't answer, but I'd need to think about it more because you could say, "Oh, but what if I lose the 30k?"
I'm thinking. See me. I'm thinking about the
I know
scenario.
you wasn't thinking about that.
I'm
so
thinking.
I know
I'm thinking about the scenario
People want your answer.
of being in your shoes, i.e., wanted to finish at 5 and not being able to, because again, I've said from my perspective, for me, family is first. Secondly, obviously, you're gonna be there's gonna be constraints when it comes to stuff like Jummah, Eid. You can't. If you're struggling to leave at 5 when you're contracted to finish at 5, how is it gonna be for Eid and
That's his job, though. That's his job. I don't have any of those problems.
Yeah, but
where are these problems?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking of.
In this scenario,
That's what I was thinking of when you said.
But that's not going to be every. That's not going to be every day though. Finishing at 5.
Jummah is downstairs, fam.
Nah, man, I want to go to a mosque.
See where that door is, yeah? See where I am sitting?
Yeah.
Where I normally say, this is my seat. The prayer room, the masala, is literally that door. That's the pattern. Alhamdulillah, it's it. And yeah, but it's just, so balance, And I say, man don't pray at work. Man goes home and does Fajr, Asr, Maghrib.
Combine
all of them.
No, but look, what I mean is, okay, for me, inshallah, I want to be able to just take my sons out. Obviously, I'm saying I'm homeschooling my children, inshallah. I want to be able to take my sons out.
You're kind of changing my scenario,
every. No, I'm just saying where my stance comes from.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I want to be able to. That flexibility is priceless, especially when you're a Muslim and you want to practice to the best of your ability. I want to be able to take my sons to Jummah every Friday and make it like this is what we do, and then they do that with their children, and that's just one of many things. That's just a simple example. But yeah,
fair enough.
In my scenario, you're still working though. You're just not getting 45.
Well, back to what you were saying. Like, I don't think you'll finish at 5:30 every single day. There'll be times, There'll be times where
generally, yeah, but sometimes no. Depends on the. Generally, yeah. Like, I don't tend to have a problem with finishing on time. I'm just going through a bit of a period. Right?
Okay, yeah. So it'll always be like a small.
When COVID was COVID, and it could be a bit. But yeah, like so. But a lot. The point of what that question anyway is the fact that we said when we were young we all wanted to make money, blah blah. So if it's just about the money, 45k is more than 45k is more than 30 plus 10. So that's more money, innit?
That's true.
However, the way that 10k, that 40k even looks bare attractive. Taking away once again the whole, you can make that 10k can grow and become a bigger business, but kind of parking that to the side, that it just sounds almost more, I mean, like, saucy, innit? It just sounds a bit more, 10k from the side. But that sounds
saucy. But the amount of work, honestly, doing a job is easier.
So this is
getting the pay rise is way more easier because the amount of effort and time you're forgetting. If it's a side hustle,
to make that
self-employed,
job on top of a job.
You're investing your money and everything.
And this is the thing I love about working. Working, you get told what to do.
So just quickly before, I'm not gonna. It's not changing what you're saying, but just. But I think people probably in this day and age be more proud to say they made the 10k than the job.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is, but I thought it was all about money.
Yeah. It's true, but then there must be something else. It's true because some people will look at that and say, "Oh, I want financial freedom and stuff like that. I want to be in a position where my family don't have to work."
10k, you're not free.
Nah, I mean, like, no, obviously,
Let's be real. Majority of the people that mindset of they rather look good on paper than they not all of them, but most of them, they don't. They're not willing to work for it. They're used to a certain lifestyle of the concept of being employed, being told what to do, doing it, being proven all these years that you're good at what you do, and having a higher power, having a hierarchy where they know you can do it, they promote you, they tell you what to do, and you can do it, and doing it. Whereas you being self-employed, no matter how small your business is, you're in a position of leadership. Your position of it's all down to you. You can mess this up, or you can grow this. That is a lot of, as you said, pressure. And can they hack it? Probably not.
True, but pressure makes diamonds.
Because the way they're saying it, as in, I'd rather just make the 10k. Boris.
No, it's him.
Oh.
I said pressure makes diamonds, isn't it?
Ad-libs. That's the mixtape title, yeah?
Volume 1, isn't it? Volume 1.
How easy. Obviously, can't be releasing the thing in Ramadan, innit?
No.
Sorry, my bad.
We're gonna discuss masculinity now. Or
Oh, was you doing that?
Oh, we can't get into
But
this.
what I wanted to just to kind of wrap as a last kind of closing thing, yeah. I had this debate with one of my boys in it, a while ago, yeah,
got 20 minutes.
and it's in the few minutes. So in terms of business, yeah, so I think generally nowadays there's more in our kind of black community or whatever. There's more girls starting businesses, I'd say, than men, and especially in Corona, I'd say I've seen more girl stuff. And I said, yeah, and I guess we didn't really disagree, but we're just making alternate points and kind of debating a bit, yeah. And I said, is that because that it's easier for a woman to start a business?
I think so.
And he was like, no, it's because men are lazy.
That also
He said,
could be
no,
true.
that's because men are lazy.
So he was saying, is
Man
it?
are lazy. A lot of
He was
people
saying,
are
is it
lazy.
because men are?
True.
So is it because the fact is, get more girls? Well, I think it's the fact. I'm pretty sure, for example, have started more small businesses.
See, the thing is that, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's because I see a lot of them doing the same thing though.
That's the thing. It could be a follow.
Not only that. Not only that.
I think it's, so it looks like I was saying I actually do believe it's easier for them, but then you say no, it's because man are proud and lazy. So a lot of the business
before we say this, before we say women
are.
are good, how do we know that more women are doing businesses?
No, like just
Because what you see.
Just
But
generally, yeah.
again, but that's what you see. If we're talking about mandem and females on social media, the ratio of females and their activity on females are actually more active on social media than men. Females are more likely to put their stuff up than men. How do you know it's not the same?
And for us,
Okay, let's talk about comments. Most of the comments or most of the interaction that we've got from this podcast are females.
That's because they're more man them are stush though. That's another thing.
Exactly.
No, but
If
stush
man them-
doesn't mean that they're not on social
But
media.
that plays into what he's saying. That does kind of play into what he's saying, because if man them are more stush, then maybe they are doing businesses, but
they're just not putting it
on
up.
social media.
And
Okay.
we're talking about what you've seen from social media.
When I think of what most, which is a good point actually, what most businesses are nowadays, I think we'll agree that for most, but for a lot of businesses, especially your entry level type business, you're probably gonna need to promote it. And one of the best ways to promote it is on social media. So that's my way of gauging. So I know there's businesses, for example, you could have started some kind of tech firm, or you could have started a app developing thing, which, for example, you're not going to be on social media with that.
Because
which is true. So there's going to be businesses we're not seeing. But generally, I still feel like in terms of what's cropping up, in terms of small businesses,
it's mostly.
I'd say. Yeah, I think more
females.
girls have a side hustle. That's not a job than man.
I think because there's a lot of need for it, like, and especially for us as men, like you would have to have something that people actually need. You get it? And it needs to be something where you have an outstanding quality.
What your brother does, Sauce Kitchen, check them out. There's more
Oxtail
of
buns and
that
that.
type of thing. Okay,
Amongst
move
the
away from the
females.
oxtail buns, which you need to go Bagel King. Obviously the diet and I can't have that anymore, but I miss them in it.
We're gonna send you a check for this, by the way.
Huh? Oh yeah, invoice. Yeah, yeah. But so the of that type for what you kind of started off with more, so the platters, that type of thing.
Yeah.
There's more women doing that, innit?
Okay.
But
I'm thinking possibly. I'm thinking as well. Maybe is it because more females are doing businesses
service-based stuff.
that
So this was
rely
one of my
on
points. This was one of my points on and it,
Services and products.
But for example, handyman services, like what like gardening, cleaning, pest control.
Those are like skilled work.
Yeah, cooking, which men are generally actually scientifically better.
And do you see a lot of those
better
out
cooks
there?
than women? Huh?
And do you see a lot of
No,
those?
but there's more
pest control
girls doing this.
And this is the point I'm trying to make. Because you're forgetting pest control, plumbing, all of this stuff. It makes a lot of money, and you can make a lot of money from it as a business. But it's not something that
you need
a lot of men in our community to
Don't
be
know
seen.
about, yeah.
Even though it's their business, they want to be seen dead at
It's
their,
because of
at
the
their
stigma
job.
around it, though.
No, but I'm not talking about a job. Though I'm talking about on the okay. So I'm not talking about a plumber doing plumbing. I'm talking about
Yeah, but these are
a salesman doing plumbing because he can do pipe
I've
work.
never
okay.
seen.
I'm talking about on the side.
Oh,
So all of these girls doing cooking, they're also probably working in Canary Wharf or whatever as well.
You can do pest control.
No. So what I'm saying is basically, I'm not talking about your main business. I'm talking about your side
hustle.
So in terms of a side, quote
I'm
unquote,
saying
side hustle.
you can do some of that stuff as side hustles.
No, yeah, exactly. You can. But what I'm saying is, I feel like,
Okay, that's more of a main job than.
men are in terms of
I hear what you're saying, but
in terms of side hustles, probably less men are. So in terms, so
you know why you're seeing a lot of this stuff crop up as well? Is because
Lockdown.
being lockdown. That's what I'm saying. Being full time employed and running a business is probably the hardest thing you can do.
a lot of these women like doing hair,
It's
doing.
either
probably
majority of the time
working
it's,
full-time too.
until before lockdown is most of the time it's either you have something that you're not taken seriously until it becomes big to the point where you can
Create
live
your
off
job,
that
yeah.
and you can leave your job, or it's you're full time employed. It's only since lockdown where you can work at home and then focus on.
But in this time, more girls are based on what
So
you've seen.
naturally
And
you're
I'm not
gonna
saying
see
this is a
that.
fact because you've given a good point why this might not be a fact. But if more girls are doing it, so if we're agreeing on, let's say more girls are doing small things for the sake of the conversation. If
I
we're
think more
saying,
people are doing things.
no, but more girls.
Majority
than
of
boys.
it is girls though. Like, I'll be
Well,
honest.
Okay, three of us agree that more.
I'll be honest.
Because we need to move.
I'm the only one that's not on social media.
We
so.
need to move past that for the conversation to work in it. So allow me in it.
True.
Then like because for example, taking away, let's say Islam, like Muslims from this, doing hair for example, a lot like a lot of girls
$1 billion
learn how to
industry.
do hair. If like a man will be able to learn how to do hair and not do it. And when he can use that to make money, the nails thing obviously it's a bit more fruity in it, so I allow that one. But cooking,
Cupcakes.
Yeah.
baking. But a lot of these things that can make money on the side. Man, them will say nah, and then that same man will probably a lot of men will still same way nah, I'm not on that. Be like, you know, I'm plotting
is very silly,
plotting
because-
all the way until their 60s and they haven't done anything. So is it laziness? Is it pride that they don't want to reduce
I
themselves?
think
to
I think
it's
it's
silly
pride
pride.
still.
I would say.
I think
It's true because when you said
I don't know,
cupcakes, the immediately thing that came to my head was a woman doing the cupcakes. It wasn't a man.
But the thing with a business in 2021, the good thing is unless you're doing like YouTube videos or something like that, which you can get your missus to do or something, you can hide behind anonymity. Like the only way to know that you're the one, you can literally set up a business and everything, and no one will know that you're the one baking the cupcakes and stuff.
True.
The only way someone will know is if they
man,
go
them aren't doing
into
it. Like look
page
at that
and it
pick,
says your
remember,
name or something.
remember the old
If you go
studio,
into-
the pick and mix thing, for example. I was like, that's clever, you know. Remember,
sweets,
like
the
underneath the studio, in the same building, there was just a business that literally did pick and mix, and it was just a couple of girls in it, something like that. That's anyone
very
can
smart,
do that.
yeah.
But it's like I don't know, man.
Does everyone have that like business acumen to be like, you know what? There's an opportunity to make money. Let's go down that.
do man them just think of only certain things and think also that maybe if it's not like I need
Up
to
there,
reach for the
yeah,
stars,
exactly.
then I'm not doing
That's
because
true.
why are
it's not
more
worth
man?
my
'Cause I
time.
know a guy. He did my room. Giddy. His name's Giddy Services on Insta. Check it out. He's a sick guy. That for example,
doing a lot of plugs today, you know.
Yeah, he's nice. The black business thing,
A lot
black
of
lives,
work,
matter, all
innit?
that stuff in it.
Trust me.
He's like a handyman in it, and like, so he like fixes just anything, like like odd jobs basically, and like, but you'd think that's a very man type of business here, but you'd think. But when I think of the female equivalent type of thing, there's more of them doing that type of stuff, but there's not as many men.
like cleaning and stuff like that.
So he's not even clean. So he's gardening. He'll like fix your cupboard. He'll put your TV up for you. He'll paint your ceiling.
Yeah.
No, he's a guy. He's a guy.
But like the female
Yeah, but I'm
equivalent
saying,
of doing that.
saying, I'm talking about stuff that he does that you was like, okay, gardening I can understand, but putting up cupboards and
Like light bulbs, like fixing tables and stuff, putting
light
sofas
bulbs.
together.
So like I don't know, plastering your wall, and like, so he
I don't
plastered.
see women plastering.
No, what? So what I'm saying is that like, so see how he's a man, yeah. Like he's kind of like he shouldn't be like, oh, right, there's some black brother in the ends doing this type of thing. That should, when you think about it, maybe should be more common because bear man gonna do that. But man, them don't monetize these things. Whereas a little skill that a girl's has, they're quick. I think they're maybe quicker to just monetize the little things. So like, or like for example, Mrs. has a event
Well,
decorate,
yeah,
event
the
decorating.
balloon, yeah.
Touch of tea, obviously.
Oh, yeah. You plugging everybody.
Trust me,
I should have plugged my wife. Yeah, so she has that, yeah. So no, but like, so like, do you know what I mean? I look at her, so I think, right. So it started off when we did, like, she just is good at like doing balloons and making them into things, and suddenly it's a thing, and she's getting bookings. I'm like, right, this is sick, innit? But it's like, I feel like our man more.
Like laid back when it comes to that.
I think it's.
I'm not saying we are. I'm saying are.
I think it's less of a male issue, more of a female issue. I think we should be asking why are women.
Do you know what it is? I think women, they're more like,
There's more.
yeah, they're more like in terms of communication.
They support each other better.
That's true.
And
they meet up a lot as well. Like my what's it called? My cousins and my mum, they say they regularly, once a month, they regularly get together without the kids and that. 2-3 hours just chill and eat. They call it eat and just, innit? So they just they regularly do that. And do you get me? So they talk about anything that they're going through and stuff like that. And they just promote each other's things. We don't really do that unless it's football or Eid or like we're going to a restaurant once in a while. Do you get it? If we started doing regular things like that, it'll be easier. Do you get it?
I don't know. I don't want to use the word feminism. That's the word I don't want to use. I think it's kind of geared to more. It's in that direction of women being financially independent and not having to rely on a man and making their money,
them desire
and
to
being in their bag. It's made that desire for more women to make to have their own businesses, and that's
that's a good thing.
I don't think that.
That's 100% true.
Okay.
You see the same thing that he's talking about. I'll say it's the same reason why you see a lot of females doing stuff in a negative way that you will never see them doing on social media.
Or like what, slandering and stuff like that.
No, stuff like I got a 50k job and I'm doing my
bragging,
posting their wins.
Wins.
Oh,
wins. I think it said wings. Yeah.
No, you was go on, say what you're saying. You say you don't think it's 100% true what I said.
I think because if you think prior to like social media and stuff, like back in the like history and that, yeah. If you think back, I would imagine that like.
Bro, hold the mic like you're eating corn.
Alright, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I would imagine that woman would still be involved in small businesses, like a lot. I don't think it's different. Yeah,
washing clothes.
Like, it would be obviously different, like types. Of
By the
jobs,
way, a lot of these big businesses that you
still-
think
Let him.
Sorry.
like different types of jobs. Obviously, like the standard is different, but still, I think women would have been like pushing small businesses a lot more than men. And that's not even like.
Okay.
Just to support that, because one thing I said to my boy as well when we were having this discussion, because I was on the side that maybe it's not man being lazy, maybe it's just that it's easier for them, is that maybe a lot of the ways that they're making money are making money on things that they were kind of they would do for free on a lot of cases.
Well, just
so like
Say that again?
so a lot of women maybe are making money doing things that they would do for free before. So doing hair, doing nails, decorating, doing washing,
cupcakes, and making food,
cooking. So when I think of a lot of the kind of female businesses that are out there those are like food, beauty.
Yeah,
Those are the two biggest ones. I'm trying to. I don't want to boy in it and say, but I think those are the two biggest ones. Yeah, is it that's their field? That's why, and in a man's field, there's not as much. For example, a man getting ready, it's a
quick thing. Yeah,
it's a suit, fold, trim.
That's it.
Yeah, and then I guess
Maybe a spray or
so there's a young
something,
beardo. Now beardo is a big thing, but there's not as many ways to decorate a man.
Or the lace front beard as well, fam.
You know, this is what I was saying before, that maybe it's because a lot of them are just doing the same thing. Because exactly like you just said, beard oil is a big thing now.
and it just
Beard oil
happens.
is a big thing just now.
Couple.
I was going to do another plug, but
Okay, that's a good
it's on our
question.
day,
Why
innit,
don't you
shit,
see?
nowadays.
Why don't you see many women doing beard oil companies? Because it's technically cosmetics.
But it's generally for men though.
because they're too busy mixing shea butter and making millions, bro. It's good. They're making bread, like.
But no, that's true. No, I think what you are seeing now is some women are diversifying. So whereas they were just doing maybe products for just hair now, they're now doing it for beards as well.
What women?
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's
I
one,
don't know.
there's one I know of.
tapping into the
Free
market.
plugs. There's one I know of that before she was just doing stuff for women's hair, but then now she's also
See, that's intelligent. That's
I don't. Have we been tricked into thinking that women are more sharp, or is it because they're just telling us they're more
this is
sharp?
what I'm saying.
I think that's just how they naturally
No,
are.
I'm
though.
saying when I say we, I mean
You.
I'm not saying me. I mean like as in people.
But in general, like
I'm not
as
gonna
a
deny.
whole,
I do think as a whole, man, them are lazier than women.
bit- no,
but
no,
I don't
that's
think
facts,
I
that's
don't
facts.
think it's an issue with men.
Are we lazier? Why are we lazier?
I personally, I just think it's just a rise of women wanting to make their own money and be independent, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what I think it is.
but shouldn't we want to be making money as well?
The
though?
Muslim sister, the Muslim like
You get it?
for the Muslim for in our community, the best thing that we can and what we could encourage is our sisters making money residually and without work. That's the best, isn't it? If they can make peas without having to work, that's almost win-win,
Exactly.
innit? Imagine like as in just. If she's making peas from the house, that's
calm.
you, don't need,
Exactly.
you don't need to be thinking about maternity leave. You don't need, you know what I mean? That's
exactly.
the best.
No one ever said any. No one
You
ever
don't have
said.
to go into the world
I'm
of
just
work
saying.
and,
So I'm
and
saying,
fall into them
I'm saying
problems.
we can celebrate it. But
I mean,
I'm just thinking,
this is a must. Like this should be the case anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something that we need.
So
to
and
push.
that's probably why. So like for example, the woman in 500 years ago, 100,000 years ago, the woman that was making a bit of money selling bread was doing like, but the kids were there. Do you know what I mean? So or she was washing clothes or whatever.
We have the example of
cooking,
Khadija radiallahu anha.
How do you know how she actually made the money? I don't actually know.
I think it was.
Was it
I
livestock?
don't want to say because I'm not sure.
I don't know how she actually made
That's our homework, inshallah.
selling beer.
That's our homework.
that's our homework.
inshallah.
Come on this podcast, we'll be giving man homework.
Of course, we.
Upstairs,
Chill, man. I'm not talking to you. I'm only a student.
The teacher.
I'm only a student.
should know these.
Khadija,
You should
the
know
first
these.
wife of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I think she earned that money from her previous husband.
Was that the only reason? Was that? That kind of kills the narrative.
Yeah, but still, even
They kind of killed the narrative. That kind
Let's do our homework, inshallah.
let's do our.
We'll post it on Instagram.
Yeah, man.
Mythbuster Mondays, isn't it? Inshallah.
What are those? Yeah, so I don't know. I think that debate, I don't know. It's an interesting one, but I don't. I think it's actually. I'm not sure what the answer is.
She was just a businesswoman. That's what
Does
it
it say
is.
what
Maybe
she?
she's- maybe
Yeah,
she's
but
not
what
known.
she sold and.
You man talk. I'll look.
Alright, calm.
What was you saying? I'll repeat what you said. You don't need to say it on the mic. Just say it and I'll repeat it.
It's something like one of his wives, right, was making money through medicine, like making medicines.
Who
Which
the
one? Do you know
prophet
which one?
chosen? Oh, okay.
That's more Googles. That's more. Leave in the comments in it if you know.
But many of the companions, mashallah, they were
Yeah,
businessmen. Abu
businessmen
Bakr,
as well.
Siddiq, radiallahu anhu, he was a business.
So like, obviously, businesses. It's a thing that obviously we should. It's something in terms of if you're securing your wealth, do it in the best way possible. All that stuff. And nowadays,
she was a merchant.
so buying and selling essentially.
I think so. I believe
So yeah, so yeah, man. Like
she was born.
Okay.
She was born into a wealthy family.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, sisters, do your thing.
No,
Man, it's up to the man to catch up in it.
it's true.
Don't
It's
just
true.
think that you finished work. Sit down.
It's true. That you can always do more in
This is
it.
for all of us in it. So you know,
And what we can take from this is that we do have role models from the Salaf that our daughters can look up to.
So
Because we always talk about how women these days don't have role models and how there's a lot of trash out there. But we haven't looked too deep into finding role models for our daughters.
it's true.
And then we want to say there's nothing for them to look up to compared to men. There's plenty.
Alhamdulillah, we have the Mu'mineen, the mothers of the believers, Aisha, Khadija. We have Maryam, the mother of Isa alayhi salam. So we have a lot of, alhamdulillah, sisters that, we have a lot of what's it called, Muslim sisters that we can look up to for the Muslim sisters of today. So alhamdulillah.
Sisters of the Ummah, women of the Ummah.
No.
That we can,
so I think that's a nice place to leave it. Any plugs? What's the Grimso, the grating with the black? Any plugs?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we've got some new tracksuits available online as well. The website will be in the description below, inshallah. But for those listening, inshallah, it's www.aopclothingLTD.com. And inshallah, go in there.
Limited.
Yeah, of course. Go in there, look what you like and everything, and inshallah we'll get that sent over to
as
you.
well as that, it's quality products, and you're also supporting one of our young, black Muslim brothers striving to become a student of knowledge, a future sheikh.
Inshallah.
So
Inshallah.
so he won't need to be funded by Syria anymore.
I'm just a student, brother.
They can get his passport back. He can bring Shamima home. I shouldn't be joking about that.
By the way, just disclaimer, I have my passport. Alhamdulillah. They're just joking.
Is that the only thing you're going to confirm from all of that?
No, I confirmed already. I confirmed already, fam. Everyone who gets accepted is alhamdulillah is sponsored, so it's not a special thing or nothing like that.
No, I meant.
No. Say.
No, he meant like anyway. No. Yeah, man. Are we all good?
Yeah.
Alright, cool, man. Yeah, man.
Jummah.
Just quickly.
I knew you. I was thinking,
Sorry. No, obviously, I want to make a I want to make a rectification, or I want to make a remission from something I said before. A retraction, yeah. Basically, I said that the brother Gabriel, the one that made a video about a speaker knitting.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's silly. Basically, I didn't watch the whole video.
Yeah, at the time,
it was cut
at the time,
and then there was another video, either where he clarified or where it was the rest of the video was posted. And his point wasn't actually the knitting, but rather he had an issue with how such a speaker in such a status talking about certain topics to do with the deen is pushing what in our society the feminists are kind of pushing. It kind of goes with what feminists are pushing in regards to men doing kind of feminine stuff, and there was a video the other day I saw of a his daughter was wearing what do they call them, booty shorts, and to kind of prove a point to her or whatever, he wore them as well. Stuff like that is just ridiculous.
Wait, who? The person,
the dad wore the same shorts to kind of
the who is the dad?
I don't know. It was a random video on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't want you to think.
No. This is nothing. I strayed. But anyways.
What was the video? What was the purpose of him wearing the same shorts as his daughter?
To show that
I don't know, to make her ashamed or whatever. It's white. Should I say it's white people? No,
it's not even white people.
People are just weird, innit? But anyway, I strayed. Going back to the point, basically, his point wasn't that knitting is haram, which is what I was kind of like. I haven't seen a single point you've made in this video that I've seen that shows anything he did that was wrong. His point was, which I saw in a later video, was that someone in such a position shouldn't be perpetrating that. Doing stuff like this as a man is kind of praiseworthy, or kind of. You finished what I'm saying?
No, like basically, I understood. He's basically saying that a person in that level, someone who's supposed to know things, someone who's not new to the deen, you should know that you doing this and you being who you are is going to create certain connotations for others to now look and say, oh, he's doing this. It's pushing towards a certain ideology as well,
a narrative,
and
supporting an ideology that doesn't.
That in our society has been pushed by feminists and whatnot that men should be
aligning yourself with the people you shouldn't be aligning.
And you're someone who should know better, basically.
And when I saw that, that's when I was like, okay, that made sense. Even though the delivery in the first video was kind of like he had an issue with the knitting, which I was just like was silly. And to be fair, in the pod that we talked about this, I did state that I gave the example of, I think, a talk I was listening to where they mentioned a student of knowledge and wearing shorts and a tank top and how that's not befitting for yes, when you study, as you know, when you study, you take on the responsibility of that knowledge, and it's not befitting for someone to be seen or to be given, for example, on Jummah,
just doing the bare minimum, basically.
Not even just the bare minimum, but to be, for example, jumping on the minbar in a tank top and shorts. So it's not a good look.
But it doesn't set a good example. It's like the knowledge, the ilm is supposed to to humble you, basically, to make you more aware
Yeah.
of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will enable you to now be wearing the thobe and what's it called, seeking ilm and doing good deeds
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
And how you're perceived. But yeah, let's end it there.
Inshallah.
No, I'm joking. Salam. Are we all good? Assalamu alaikum.
Before you're gonna plug, I interrupt.
No,
you while
it's
you're
nice,
plugging.
come. No,
Oh, obviously socials.
they already know the socials anyway.
Yeah,
You
they
should
know,
know the
they
socials
know.
at this point.
Okay.
If you don't, then I'm off.
Yeah, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.